We're going to be talking about cost of maintaining and repairing a car. Now, there's a difference between maintaining and repairing. So, when we first looked at the home, right? We talked about your home needs a lot of maintenance, daily maintenance, weekly or regular maintenance. That's just to make sure that your house is in good tip-top shape. So same thing with the vehicle, your car, or whatever vehicle you have. It requires maintenance, and maintenance is something that you do so that it's always in the best condition or good condition. And repairs, there's going to be something broken, right? Those are the things that needs change right away. So as with the house, I'll just read this to kind of go through every single one. As with the house, a vehicle requires regular maintenance and upkeep to keep the vehicle in good working order. Makes sense? However, every vehicle would need repairs eventually. Okay. This lesson will explore the cost of repairs. So example number 1, we are to explore and brainstorm some of things that are called a regular maintenance. Now, some of you, when I asked you last time, like if you have a vehicle, some people said yes, or maybe you know of people who has a vehicle. And I'm sure all of you do. What would be the considered regular maintenance of vehicle?
Oil change?
Oil change, yeah. Yeah, oil change. So let's write that down. Right, oil change, yes. We gotta change the oil because, you know, at a certain kilometers driven, the oil is no longer clear and it's gonna affect the engine of your car. Or you have something?
You want us to? I did. I lost it.
What?
I lost it.
Oh, you lost. Okay, maybe. Whoa, if you. Yes. Okay.
Keep your tire pressure up to the side.
Oh, very nice. That's a good one. That's a good one. Check tire pressure. And that's like PSI, okay? Now, PSI it actually stands for pressure per square inch. So how much pressure is in the tire? So yeah. And why do you think, and I'm asking everybody or anybody, and please just raise up your hand or jump in, why do you think we should check our tires for pressure? Okay.
Don't waste gas.
Yeah, because it maximizes the gas thing.
I think also, this could be wrong, tires are made a certain way, so if they don't have as much air as they should be, it doesn't grip the road properly.
Yeah, it could probably could sustain more damage. It will have more wear and tear if it's not inflated at the right time. If it's overinflated, that's no good either, right? If it's underinflated, yeah, absolutely. You could waste some gas because of the underflated tire. Very good, very good. Okay, anything else that could be regular maintenance? Okay, yeah, so topping up, top up fluids, okay, fluids. Okay, so, and then we'll just look at the brake fluid. What else can we top up? Power steering. maybe windshield washer fluid, right? Yeah, because you might need that. Okay. Engine oil. What else?
Would gas be considered that, or would that be?
No,
No,
I think
gas is a
that's
gas,
yeah,
yeah.
gas is a gas. It's separate. Yeah, but I guess we need that to run our vehicle, right? Okay. Okay, good. If you want to add more stuff, feel free to let us know. Okay, so far we have oil change. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Check the tire pressure, top of the fluids. What else?
Would changing the brake pads be considered a repair or just a maintenance?
That's a good question.
Because it is something you have to do regularly, but it's also something that kind of wears away. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. Would changing of brake pads, because it's a minor thing,
Yeah.
right? It's yeah, it's not.
But it's something that has to be done.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. Well, I guess yeah, that's pretty. I think that would be
I think that'd be maintenance.
maintenance. How often do we change brake pads?
I
Probably
think
not.
like every few years, a couple years.
Yeah, a few years,
yeah.
depending on how much you drive. Okay. Okay. That's a good question. Where would that go? Is that more of a regular maintenance or a change?
I think that would go on maintenance because this one also says major vehicle repairs,
Mhm.
so that's
Yeah,
not
so
really a
major-
big,
Yeah, big ones. Okay. We'll just put change brake pads. Okay. Anything else? Yep.
Make sure the lids, the caps are closed tightly,
Okay. Yeah.
because when you turn your lights on. So you have something going to car.
Make sure to
Tighten all the caps.
tighten caps.
Gas cap.
Caps. Maybe after you top up the fluid, you do that right away. Right? Anything else? Tell me if this is a good thing to put in this category. What about cleaning your car? Right? Yeah, cleaning your car, washing your car. Probably not every day, but quite regularly. Do you think that's a good idea? Yeah. Yeah, because especially now that it's almost winter, they're gonna start putting sand and salt on the ground, and those are really really bad for your vehicle because it could actually create rusts. To also get rid of that excess dirt and salt. Anything else that you can think of? This is probably not the exhausted, all of the things, but certainly those are good stuff.
What about plugging your car in the winter? Would that be?
Maintaining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To maintain your vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Plug in. Car in winter time, right? We don't have to do that in the summertime. Why do you think we have to plug in our car to, like, in winter time?
Save the battery.
The battery, right? Yeah, yeah. Winter is awful for battery, right? Yeah, yeah. Good. Anything else that you want to add? These are good stuff. Like, you're very knowledgeable with these things. Okay, now these are the regular maintenance stuff, right? Maybe changing the, what do you call that? Windshield
Or the
wiper.
windshield wipers, yeah.
Yeah, let's add that in. Change wipers. Because that one could get really bad quite easily. And you need that because, especially in the springtime when it's all gross outside. Okay, good. Okay. Let's go to example 2, and I'm sure there's other things that we could do. Example 2, as a class, again, list at least 3 things that would be considered major vehicle repair. Major, so something big. Okay. Changing all tires, right? Because tires change all tires, and that's pretty expensive. Major repair, right? Change all tires. Sometimes those tires are good for a certain number of distance, like 100 kilometers. 100,000 kilometers, right? And then after that, it gets the threads are getting really flat. It's not safe. So yeah, certainly change all tires. A lot of pretty expensive stuff. Okay, what other things that could be like a major, big things?
Getting a new bumper. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you get into a fender bender, like fix broken bumper. Yeah. Headlights, change the headlights. Change lights. I think those are. Did you say other things? No, okay.
Sure. The brake.
Brake, yeah. Yeah.
That's the mountain ball.
Okay, because this one here we
Oh,
have
that's what we put, yeah,
brake
there.
pads, so we could have like, oh, man, anybody knows because the brake pads, there's brake pads, there's rotor,
Rotor is.
rotor, yeah. Rotor, did I spell that right? My goodness, you know a lot about cars. Yeah, so change the rotor. The brake pads is something that's attached to that one. Yeah. Brake shoes. Is that what? Pads. If we put all together. Change. Oh, this is a big one. Changing the transmission, right? That's another big one. So we have a few in here. We should have invited a mechanic. And is there anybody here that knows a mechanic? Oh, you do? You know a few. Okay, not just one. What's that?
Also did work experience at Farm United.
Oh, that's why you knew a lot of these things. Oh.
That's what I want to do.
Oh, and that's what you wanted to do. Yeah, yeah. Good. Wow, I think you're gonna be great at it. So, next time I need a mechanic, I'll call you. Okay, so let's take a look at page 9. So when you bring your car to a shop, you have a mechanic work on it. Okay, so you're gonna have a mechanic work on it, and then they're gonna be charging us 2 things. Okay, it's broken down to parts and labor. So parts are anything that needs to be replaced, like broken, like when we have to change the tires, those ones have to be changed and installed. When we change the lights, the brakes, those are parts, physical things that get replaced and installed. Now the labor, because we have a person who's gonna be doing all these things for us, right? Not me. So they charge by the hour. Okay? So when we go to a car service center, they should have a rate per hour for labor posted. Rate per hour. So how much they get paid per hour? For example, the labor costs $80 per hour. There, before any repairs begin, an accredited garage is requested by law to provide you with an estimate, okay, for the total repairs. So when you bring in a car, maybe some of you have experiences, you bring in a car and you don't know what's wrong with it. I've done it a few times, because my car would just not work and I have no clue what's wrong with it. So I bring it in and then they call me and says, hey, this is what's wrong. This, and this. Do you want to go through with it? Then we have to make a decision that, okay, yeah, go ahead and do it, right? So they have to give us an estimate, and then they say, okay, it's gonna cost you this much money. Are you okay with that? So we're not surprised, and that's basically why they give us an estimate. So they are allowed to charge up to 10% more than the estimate when the repairs are finished for extra other cost. So when we go to a mechanic, a service place, you're gonna be shown this part here, the hourly rate and some other stuff on this, a notice to the consumers. Okay, so take a look at example number 3. Okay, now this is where the actual math begins. So this is where something I think I could do. So you take your car, we take our car to the local garage to get an oil change and tires rotated. Okay, tires rotated. The estimate is that the job will take about 0.75 hours. The rate for the labor of the garage is $78 an hour. Determine the cost for the labor before taxes. So we know it's going to be 0.75 hours, and it's going to be $78 per hour. So labor cost is 0.75 hours times $78 per hour. Now you look at that one, the unit hours and hours cancel each other out. Okay, if you're interested in seeing that. So you got 0.75 times 78. So let's pull out our calculator and figure that out. 58.5. So 58.5, is that the right way to go? We're talking about money here, so I gotta do 2 decimal places, and a dollar sign. Okay? Now this is before taxes, so let's just leave it like that for now. Okay? Letter B. They're connected, these two questions. Now, the tire rotation does not require any new parts, but the oil change requires 5 liters of oil at $2.60 per liter, and a new oil filter that costs $11.25. Determine the cost of parts before taxes. So now this is gonna be the cost of parts. Okay, so these are the parts. So 5 times 260, that's for the oil. $5 liters of oil at $2.60 per liter. It's going to give us $13. And a new oil filter. Let's put filter. And we only need one, right? Only one filter, so it's 1 times $11.25. So it's going to be $11.25. So total parts is $13, $11.26. Thank you. $13 plus $11.25. That's going to give us $24.25. Okay. So the first part was the labor, $58.50. Now the parts is $24.25. Now letter C would be with taxes. And it says here, just recently, he said, from now on, all of the labor and all of the parts are subject to GST and PST, which is 7% and 5% makes it 12%. So subtotal would be $58.50 plus $24.25. $82.75. Okay, that's before taxes. So now with taxes, and are we still okay with this? Multiplying by 1.12? 1.12, 12%. It's going to cost us $92.68. Okay. See. Is that so far so good? There's part A, you're focusing on just the parts, the labor. Part B are the parts, and then part C would be everything with taxes. Let's take a look at example 4. So example 4, Francois needs to pay the following: repairs for his vehicle, labor time. Okay, this is actually broken down into whatever is needed. 2.7 hours and 0.8 hours. Cost of parts would be $970 and then $290. Calculate the total labor cost before taxes. It charges $105 per hour. So it's going to be 2.7 plus 0.8 hours, that's 3.5 hours. So it's 3.5 hours to do all that job, and then times 105. So 3.5 times 105 per hour. It's going to cost $367.50. Now, notice here, do it before taxes. Do it before taxes, and then we'll do all the taxes together at the end. Okay, letter B. Calculate the total amount that Francois will pay to the service center after tax. So this one here is just the labor. Now we gotta consider the parts. So the parts are $970 plus $290. It's gonna cost $1,260 for parts. Now we're gonna do everything with taxes. So total. Is it okay if I use the word subtotal? Have you seen that one before? Subtotal. So this is a subtotal for labor and materials, labor and parts. $367.50 plus $12.60. This doesn't include the tax yet. Now we're going to do the total, which includes the tax. So $1,627.50 times 1.12, because it's 12% tax. It's going to cost us $1,822.80. So calculate the total labor before taxes, calculate the parts, and then once you have those together, add the last example. Emily brought her vehicle into the service center in Manitoba for tune-up. The tune-up including the following items. Okay. So replace the wipers. We need 2 wipers and it's gonna cost $12 per wiper. For oil change, you need 4 liters of oil. It's $3 per liter. 1 filter, $22 per filter, and then the labor total cost. So let's do parts. Wipers. 2 wipers cost $12 per wiper, so 2 times 12 is going to be $24. The oil, 4 liters of oil, $3 a liter, so 4 times 3. It's going to be $12. And then filter, 1 filter, so I'll just go 1 times 22, $22. So if we add all of these up, so it's $58 altogether for the parts that needs to be put in there. Okay. Now for labor, it's going to cost $110 per hour. So It's 2.5 hours, so it's 2.5 times 110. $275. Okay, so that's adding all the parts, figuring out the labor, now putting it all together. Parts and labor, subtotal, 58 plus 275. $333. But we need to apply the taxes. Taxes is 1.12, so times by 1.12. So the final total is $372.96. $372.96. How do you like that one? That one's not bad, right? It's very, very good. Okay, so that finishes up all of our notes here. Certainly, there's some questions for you to do, okay? So these are practice questions. Give them a try. Certainly we have time right now. So go ahead and you can get started on that one.